How are you?
Ellen. I'm very well, Dr. Karim. Nice to
Thank you
have
very
you.
much for inviting me.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll also be joined by Ellen and George. Hi, George. Welcome on board.
Thanks, Lami, and thank you for inviting us to this great event and platform. We hope to make.
Yeah, awesome. While we wait for Ellen to join, I think we'll just dive into it. So I've been receiving questions from some of the members of the audience, and one that stands out is basically what advice can you guys have already set up your fintech businesses give to startup fintechs on how to go about setting up and how to go about starting their business, given all that we see in Africa today. Dr. Karim, do you want to do a response to that first?
Yes, sure. Thank you very much, Lami, for inviting me. First of all, fintech market is growing since the last decade, and as we see far, it is almost like 5% or 10% of the opportunities that we can have from fintech. This means that a lot of R&Ds are working, and a lot of knowledge and a lot of technologies can be developed to serve fintech. In Africa, mainly we suffer mainly lack of funding, lack of finance, lack of access to banking services. We have over 60% of unbanked clients in Egypt, for as instance, which is opening a lot of opportunities for us. Mainly, I would recommend whomever looking for to invest in such type of industry is to go fast, because this industry is still a version, still an opportunity. Opportunity to access this market is still somehow easy. Try to get advantage from your country regulations, to understand the regulation in your country, regulatory body, to see what is their requirements, to try to get funding as much as possible. It is not an easy to start such type of business. Also try to provide something new, because most of the fintechs that have started mainly focused on types of payments and collection, and still nobody have get inside in the crowdfunding, blockchains, and so on. All of this are still virgin in our continent. So go for R&Ds, assess your market, assess your opportunities, try to get advice from listeners that have been done in other nations like in US, Europe, UK, and other countries. We see also that it is not a closed industry to Europe and US, because as we see in China and India, it is the most fast growing market. So I believe it is a very potential opportunity, especially for innovators, especially for entrepreneurs. You can put your own ideas, assess your markets, assess your community needs. Start by the small communities like SMEs, like the people who are not engaged in banking and services. All of this will give you an unreached market and will give you a lot of opportunity. I hope I answered somehow your question.
Dr. Hamza, and it's interesting that innovation keeps coming up, and the need for startups to be quite innovative in the solutions they offer, and I think that's key. But coming home to national systems and what you do, will be nice to understand a little bit more about the market you play in and what your expansion plans are globally.
Okay. National system, we started in 2014. Mainly we focused on consulting and working with financial institutions, mainly in data analytic and data visualizations. As soon we entered with giving advisory to government and to financial institution, we started to find an opportunity to go in the fintech industry. There we make products, and we started to help new companies in entering such type of industry, and we started to assess our own opportunities. So currently we are developing a product regarding to fintech in order to help SMEs to be engaged in such type of industry, helping them in crowdfunding. And then we are helping informal economy companies to start to join such type of economy by using the fintech technology. Of course, we are aligning with different government agencies and regulatory body in order to align with sustainable development strategy. We are planning to expand our products in fintechs, especially for the Egyptian market. Also, we are hoping to extend regionally, mainly for Arab countries in the region and Middle East, by cooperating with different companies and partners in UK and Europe. We are hoping also if we have to have a joint opportunity in Africa, because we still see that Africa will be one of the most fresh markets and fast-growing markets globally, and still a lot of opportunity for development and innovation.
Okay, thank you. And from my own interactions with a lot of fintech players and those that want to get into the ecosystem, one of the biggest issues is part of what was mentioned at the earlier panel session: regulation. Basically, regulators not keeping pace with the level of innovation we're beginning to see. And for me, I would want to find out your own, and I'm sure others too want to find out what your experience has been with the regulators in Egypt, and how you think the UK can support in helping to make things a little bit better, even though we're doing a lot of work already with respect to supporting regulators and helping set up regulatory sandboxes and stuff of that nature. But what do you think we should be doing more? Over to you.
In our case, I consider ourselves lucky, because in Egypt we have the FRA, or Financial Regulatory Authority, and a part of the financial inclusion strategy in Egypt is to develop regulations to be able to adapt with international standards, including the fintechs. So they're starting to provide new regulations, help new startups and new companies to focus on the fintech in order to help informal economy to be engaged in the formal economy. Because as I think Egypt, as most of African country, you have a big percent of informal economy who are not engaged with banking systems and financial institutions and so on. So the FRA is helping to develop such type of regulation. On the other hand, we have the Central Bank of Egypt. They have their own central bank for helping fintech technologies. They are putting almost like $1.5 billion for investments in these sectors. Currently in Egypt, we have around 22 companies who are working in the fintech, who have just started in less than 10 years. Two of them, their capital now is exceeding 1 billion Egyptian pounds, which is almost like $200 million, which is considered a very fast growing technology companies. We are trying as national system to work as an advisory bodies to different government agencies, including the FRA and central bank, in order to facilitate new companies to enter such type of industry. Of course, if you look to the crowdfunding still doesn't have a regulatory framework that help new companies to work in this environment. But still, there is a big demand in Egypt for such type of services, because currently the interest that the bank provided is started to be decreased, and a lot of stakeholders and clients are thinking of how we can use our money or pension money to be used to have a better flow of interest, or a better flow of revenue in a way that is somehow regulated and guaranteed. So this is how we are trying to push in the area of the crowdfunding, because we see it is a lot of opportunity. We are trying to focus on SMEs and how we can help them in the Egyptian market. Also trying to help the government in how to engage the informal economy to start to be part of the formal economy. I think the regulations will be developed sooner or later, either we like it or not, in order to match the fintech industry. The only challenge now is cryptocurrency. Still, it is banned in Egypt; it's not allowed. But I don't think it will be a challenge in the future.
Thank you, Dr. Karim. And before we round up this fireside chat and play the next batch of pitch videos, I think my final bit will be the last end of my question, which is, what do you think the UK can be doing better? Both the UK public and private sector fintech players be doing better to work with Africa on its fintech journey.
UK have a lot of opportunity either on the private sector or the public sector, because you have technology, you have a lot of developed companies, so have a lot of segments and so on. You have a developed market in Europe and UK. But by maintaining relations or cooperations between the government level and the private sector level in Africa, they will open new markets for them. If you look as an instant, Egypt is over 100 million population, which is almost 28% of North Africa and Middle East. 60% of them are not covered by the banking services. So all of this is considered an opportunity for UK companies. So, and now the cooperation or the political environment between Egypt and UK, or most of the African countries and UK, I think it is in a way it can open more better trade or more better international or economical relations between UK and Africa. So expanding and investing in African companies, either our partnership or seed fundings or sharing R&Ds or sharing innovations, will open for UK companies, either on a government level or on a private sector level, a market that is not easy to underestimate, because still a lot of investment are open here, and still a lot of business and opportunity here are open. UK has the trust, has a good name, and have a lot of good infrastructures that can be used. So my recommendation is to build network with private sectors and new companies in Africa, gives them an opportunity like seed funds or angel fundings, gives them opportunity to have access to R&Ds, share with them technologies, try to take the risk to enter the African market. I think this will be a quick win for everybody, either for the private sectors in UK and Africa, or either for the government relations between UK and African governments. And I still think this will be the fast-growing economy markets in the coming 10 years.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hamza, and totally spot on. We have a wealth of solutions in the fintech space and financial and professional services space generally, and essentially that's why we're having this event, to explore those kind of partnerships that would lead to mutual benefits. So we'll now go on to playing the next batch of videos.